All right. Well, welcome to another edition here of the Rod and Krunch Show. I'm Krunch Kretschmar here in Chicago, Illinois.
And Rod J here in Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky.
All right. And this week here was my choice, and we went for the springtime flower event into bouncing into spring, my friend.
Nice.
We got the Final Four. All right. We got the Final Four coming up here. We got the pick here for the #1 team, MSU. So I'm going to go ahead and keep the fingers crossed. Hopefully, it will bring us in some money, on the office pools. So, all right. Well, so what I went with this week was the Magic Hat. Unlike the first couple of days, I was telling Rod to go look for the Matter Hat. So,
Mad Hatter?
no, yeah, that's right, the Mad Hatter. Well, looking actually for the Magic Hat. So I was able to secure the spring special variety pack that they have here in Chicago. And Rod, you were able to just grab a couple of them, or actually you got one of them.
Right.
Out of there.
So I got the original Magic Hat #9. That kind of started it all there. And then I'll have a second beer behind that from a little brewery you might be familiar with up there in Chicago called Goose Island.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And their summertime Kolsch. So those will be the 2 beers.
And then the other one that I have replaced for our second guy would be from the Magic Hat, would be the single chair. So we're doing up there the single chair.
There you go.
Which comes out and kind of actually their kickoff to the spring and a little tribute to what I guess I didn't know was that they actually have the single chairs that roam up there over the rivers and stuff. So that actually in the springtime, they actually have a tradition where people get on their ride and go over, the river and, up the mountain stuff during the spring. So it kind of runs really all year long. That's just opposed to just a ski lift. So that was kind of unique.
That's something I did not know there. A little bit of trivia.
Yeah, so it's kind of a nice little thing to read. And, I guess it's a good way to, keep the money generating in during the slow season. Pretty good. Well, all righty. Well, let's first one. We're going to go out here. You want to go with the #9? It's just a little bigger beer than the other ones. I think we're going to kind of start to light and go heavy.
Yeah, let's go with the #9. And for those not familiar, the #9 is their not quite pale ale. And this is also listed in that wonderful book of 1,000 beers you must taste before you die. So a little bit of trivia there as well. Definitely one worth checking out. And this was actually the first beer that I had in the past that introduced me to Magic Hat.
Now, take a look at your bottle cap. Would you have something written in the inside of your bottle cap? Something on there, I just can't read it.
On the inside of my bottle cap, it's no sin, try again. There you go.
All right.
It's no sin, try again.
Yeah.
What does yours say?
I'm trying to find out here. My cap is a little cold here, so it kind of fogged up.
They're going to send some classes to Chicago?
Yeah, no kidding. I got to pull this up here and read what mine says. Like a lottery ticket. I gotta have to scratch it off. The good thing about this lottery ticket, at least everyone's a winner.
There you go.
Well, I don't know what that says.
Just to hell with it.
Wasn't able to read it. Yeah,
I can buy you some time if you like. Yeah, so there you go. Now, on mine, I've got less than a finger of head. The finger of head, did that happen on yours also?
Yep.
Yeah, so a little bit thinner on the pale ale here, but it does have that golden color that you'd expect to have on a pale ale. I've got a slight bit of a chill haze, but still a good amount of clarity and a lot of lively carbonation, it looks like.
All right. Now, I've been kind of checking up on these, and so I get the clarity and stuff. You know, this is what the SRM is all about.
Right.
So, you know, and, you know, they have all the numbers that they give you for the, like, you know, this would be an 8, you know, which I guess runs between a pale amber and a deep gold.
Yes. Yes. So right in there on that, basically the color chart they use that runs everything from light all the way up to like the stout dark jet black. Right.
Right.
But the head.
And now, you know, it's got a really.
You broke up a little bit? What did you say? It has a really what?
Now, like I said, it has a really good orange, you know, citrus smell to it.
Okay. Yeah, the head went a little too fast, what I usually like on a pale ale, but on the aroma, I do get the big notes of the orange coming out, almost like a tinge. You get the orange, but you take that sniff in, I almost get like a little bit of a pineapple type thing too.
Yeah, kind of like right.
And then I do get the pine on the back as well from the hops. So you do get that dankness too. Now this carries 20 IBU, so it's a little more hidden, but I can get a tinge of the hops in there.
Right. Now, when you talk about the IBUS and stuff on there, for those that are novice that are just checking in, what exactly is the IBSU?
Well, the IBU is actually the International Bitter Units, I believe, and it basically is a measure of how much bitterness you can find in a beer. The lower the IBU, the less hops you have. Technically, you would say, well, 100 is probably the highest you can get, but there's actually some beers that I've seen up to 200 IBU that are really hopped. It's like, what was that old movie back in the day where 10 wasn't the highest, you could take it to 11? What was that?
Oh, yeah.
I forgot what movie it was.
Yeah.
For us folks that remember from back then, there was a movie that came out like in the 80s, and you took it past 10 to 11. So you can overhop as well. What people don't sometimes realize about hops, though, hops have two uses. You know, most people know the hops as being a preservative, but depending on when you put it in the beer, it adds the flavor to the beer as well. Depending later on when you put it in, it adds aroma. So for someone that's looking to have a lot of hops in the aroma and you do your boil, it's usually within the last 10 minutes of that boil when you'll add hops. For people looking to do the flavor more, you're usually putting that in there maybe an hour out, so it adds the flavor into it to make it more bitter. So just something to know about how hops are actually used. They kind of have a dual purpose. Some people put it in too early, don't realize why the aroma's not there, and that's usually the reason, because they did it before they actually should have.
Right. So for a novice, you know, who is, you know, getting into the craft beers and stuff, is the IBU something, you know, they should look at, or as far as they want to figure out like what their flavor, what their, you know, what their taste is at that moment, you know, so they can graduate up and up into it?
Yeah, because you get into something too strong too early, it'll really turn you off. So I hear like some people that don't like IPAs. Well, if you jumped into, let's say like it's a Stone IPA, and you're not used to IBUs, it's going to be really a big bitter blast for you. You want to work your way up. That's why you see some of the session IPAs that are out there now. they allow you to gradually work yourself up into that market. So, you know, you get something like one of those, like I just did a review on the Founders All Day IPA, great stepping stone beer. You can try that IPA, look to work your way up higher into the IPA area and not be overly bitter by what you're receiving on that one. You know, we talked in the past about the app for beer menus, where you can find any drink you're looking for around town, or what stores may sell the beers you're looking for. Another great app for the beginner would be Untapped. So you go to Untapped and you track your beers and you rate beers on how you like them. What the app will actually do is start looking at how you're rating beer and then start offering recommendations of other beers in that style as well. So now you have something that tracks for you as a journal, but you also have something that'll pick out recommendations that you can try. So that's a great app. That's how I started tracking a lot. There's other ones out there. There's Beer Advocate has their app. Rate Beer has theirs. The problem with those two, for the novice, it's really a lot of information they want you to put into them. Like if you want to do a review, you can just go to Untapped and just put however much you think it is out of 5. On Beer Advocate and on Rate Beer, they want you to type in an actual review, knowing appearance and aroma and everything along those lines, how it hits the palate. And that's just something a beginner's not ready for.
Sure.
So
here's my question, because, you know, so here's my question, you know, looking at the bottle and stuff here, and I know, like, on, you know, with wine, I don't know, you know, I'm a sommelier here in Chicago. So, but with wines, you know, with the alcohol volume in there, you can kind of pretty much tell, especially like where the region, where it's from, you know, what's, you know, what to expect, you know, out of there. So it's kind of almost tells you on the label. Wouldn't it be beneficial if the craft beer industry as a whole started to put the IBUs on there, you know, somewhere on there? I mean, they have the alcohol, man, but the IBUs, in my opinion, I think it's a very useful information tool and would help sell a lot more beer.
No, I definitely think it would be beneficial for anybody involved when they want to sell their beers and that people know what they're looking at. And a lot of companies have done it. It's not anything mandated. The only thing mandated on the beer is really the warning that they give you from the government, right? Too much of this consumption, blah, 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 just like cigarettes. So,
and the alcohol volume.
Right.
And the alcohol volume.
And so even on that, like some companies don't even put the ABV on their beer. So to have both of that on there is actually a nice. I think I look on here on the Magic Hat number 9, and they have the ABV listed at 5.1.
Right.
But they don't have the IBUs listed.
No.
And that's something I know from, like, if I look on Untapped or whatever, where people have put that information in, you can kind of pick it up. Or if you go to their website, you can get that information. But
Right. I went onto their website and it was 17.
It was on their website, 17. Okay, so this one's saying 20 is even an error on the Untapped then. So that's the one thing you always have to watch out. It's always best, of course, to go to the website because there are people that make the beer. Yeah.
Correct.
But Magic Hat doesn't. I said they do a nice little operation out of Vermont. So, yeah.
Well, all this talking is making me thirsty. It's just, I'm ready to taste this bad boy out.
Cheers.
Cheers, my friend. See, now I definitely understand what you're talking about. It's like I had an orange, and then I had the pineapple juice at the end there, and I got that nice pineapple-y flavor, you know, on the end there, and the bitterness is really nice. I mean, it's not a harsh, nor is it like too weak.
Right.
It's a really nice bitter. It's a really nice medium, you know, style bitterness. I couldn't say it's a light bitterness because it is there up front, but I can't say it's a big, bold bitterness because it is not, you know, taking over my whole mouth.
Right, and that's the key because it has that low IBU. You go in, you know you're going to get some, but it's not going to be an overwhelming type amount. So when you like hold it in, a lot of times when you first drink a beer, you want to take two sips. Not really two huge gulps, but two sips when you're really enjoying a craft beer to kind of get that flavor out of it. And then you kind of respond the same way you kind of, that's how you do wine tasting. There's a certain technique that goes with it. And that helps to flush out some of those flavors. So if you take a chug, you may not catch that pineapple juice on the back end. So there's just the way that you kind of go in whenever you want to take those first couple drinks of a beer. I see a lot of guys get it and chug it down and they miss some of the aspect. Craft beer itself is designed to be enjoyed. It's not something you really want to rush through. That's why some beers, they get better the more they're out the bottle and they warm up a little bit.
Correct. Yeah, just take the time to breathe, time to for everything to get together, because oxygen is actually a enhancer as well as a killer.
Right.
You know, it gets to a point, just like it's like coffee. You know, it gets to a point where it's good hot. Then when it gets warm, nobody likes it. Then when it gets cold, everybody likes it again.
Right.
You know, so it's got that open. It's the same thing. You know, it's got that. Some people like it right out of the bottle. You know, and then some people like it when it gets warmed up a little bit. So
now,
it's like me with champagne. I actually like champagne the next day. I don't like all the bubbles and things on there. I actually like it the next day, and to me, it's a lot better the next day.
Because it smoothed out a little bit for it, yeah.
Exactly, right.
And that's one of the things that when people talk about IPAs, yeah, you're designed to drink them fresh to get a lot of the hoppiness. But keep in mind, when IPAs were first created, they were sent overseas. So it would take 6 months or however long for a destination for it to be received at. The hops over that period of time actually do mellow out some. So kind of drinking it fresh, it's kind of an acquired taste in itself. But just because you get a bottle of an IPA and it's 6 months past the date doesn't mean it's bad either. A lot of people think it's definitely not bad. And I've had some IPAs that have been over a year old that have actually held up pretty well. So one of the things you learn about when you drink different beers is how to experiment and learn the timelines on various beers.
Right.
But when you drink,
I have to go ahead and I have to apologize to you here real quick though that the IBS here is actually 20. It says on their thing. I was looking at the when I said 17, I was looking at the wrong one. You were right. It is 20.
It is 20, so that's correct then. Okay.
Yeah, I was looking at the single chair. I thought that was what's the 17.
Okay.
I jumped ahead of the game there. So yeah, that you were right. It's 20 on there, and the SRM on that one 8. So you know, which we talked about, that golden area.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then
it's good. I like this. This is actually almost you know, when I get home from work and I just got done, you know, I just got done doing what I have to do around the house, and I'm sitting in my chair and I want my first beer just to kind of, you know, relax from everything. This is the type of beer I think about. This is the type of beer where it's not too light. I'm not, you know, drinking water, and it's not too heavy where it's going to weigh me down and put me to sleep. Yeah. It's actually a nice balance. It's really nice. It kind of puts me in a really nice, good mood.
Yeah, I think it's very smooth for the pale ale. And like I said, this is an American pale ale as opposed to the American IPA. I think the American IPA, because of their use of the extra hops, makes that one a little more heavier on the citrus type aspect. So you don't get that as much. This is kind of more of a nice pale ale that you can just sit there and enjoy smoothly and not have too much of a bite to it. So I think they do a good job with this one overall. As far as it relates to a lot of pale ales out there, I think it does okay. I guess you could say, I usually say it holds water, but I guess you could say it holds beer. So versus a lot of the other ones that you can get, you know, it's a year-round offering, so you can get any time of the year. And again, it's one of those things. If I'm going to sit at a bar and they got macros and this on tap, I'm going to drink this. I think it's that much better of a beer than a lot of the macros that are more mass-produced for people. I think this has a little bit more character. Right.
Now, I definitely agree with you on that one. And like I said, the good point is it is produced all year long. So that's a good style. Like I said, it's definitely something one you definitely could enjoy all year. It's got a really good. For me, you know, on the rod scale there, I'm going to go with a 4 on this one, a nice strong 4. And in the American version of the school rating system, I'm going to go this one here, 89.
Okay, okay. Now for me, because of the different range of the pale ales I've had, I actually consider this one to be more about a 3. So, which for me is kind of right at the bottom of that B- level. And one of the reasons why is the appearance one is okay, but the head does have a little bit of a flaw, and it doesn't last as long as some of the other pale ales that do out there, where they're kind of at now. It's got a good lasting flavor with it, but it doesn't do anything to really separate itself versus some of the other in its criteria. I think overall, you'll get it. Like I said, it's a pleasing beer, so that puts it right in that B area, but it's not enough to jump out and say, I want to go grab another one. I think the last time I had one of these might have been 2 years ago during one of the summers. So it's just, it's a good beer you can count on, but is it going to separate itself? Not as much out there, but I do appreciate what they do now. The one that you're going to come up with next, I've had that one before. I don't have it tonight, but I've had the single chair, and I do like that one. They do have one. I think it's called Electric Peel. I do like as well. So it's just a matter of sometimes what beer is out there. And of course, we're only as good as what our choices are or the environment we've been in. So the more we have in options, the more we kind of see it versus other beers as well. But I think it stacks up with decent beer, and I think anybody that likes pale ales will be pleased.
All right. Well, that's a good one there. Okay. Bring out my new fresh glass, sir.
I'll let you talk about that one while I'm still. You seem to always chug a little bit faster than I do. So.
Actually, I still have a lot here left right here. I'm just keeping the show moving along. Some of these people got other things to do than drink beer and watch us.
That's true.
All right. So the next one I have here is the Magic Hack, the single chair. So this is the one here that comes in at 17 IBUs and that 3.5, SRM. So it's going to be a little light guy there. Yeah, definitely light.
What was the ABV on that one? You remember?
The ABV on this one here, 5%.
5%. Okay. So actually just a little less than what Magic Hat was on the regular. Okay.
On the 9. Yeah, 9. So, you can definitely see the lightness on there.
Yeah.
The head came out of this one here a little bit, more than the 9 there. Good. Got nice little bubbles going in through there.
Okay.
So some really good bubbles popping up in there. One thing I did not see is on the I was wondering if the cap there, if it had little signs to it as well. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll make that a follow-up edition. We'll break into the NCAA and let you guys know about that. So, breaking news. But so this one here is a little lighter. Definitely, you're going to be able to see the difference in clarity.
Okay.
Out of there. Yeah. And like I said, the bubbles and stuff in there are really good. The legs are, from the head there, standing up pretty good.
Yeah, I'm saying the head looks like it's staying around for a while.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, you can definitely tell this right here is a Indian ale. It's that lighter, that nice lighter, crispier. Definitely spring. This right here is that I can smell and I can tell that this is what you're gonna want on those hot, spring days.
Okay.
It's hot. You want to cool off. This has got that crisp, flavoring to it. It's really crisply light. It's snappy. So I can already tell that this is going to be that thinner, more, like I said, more the hot weather type.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely not lighter. You know what? There's really not a lot of flavors going on there.
Okay.
It really doesn't have, a bunch. It's really not knocking my socks off. That's for sure.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, it's not. Because it doesn't have a whole bunch of flavor and stuff. It's kind of it's kind of like it has some some citrus in there, but it's very faint, very light.
Okay.
This is the type of in my opinion, is the type of beer I would drink when it's hot out and I want to refresh myself.
Right.
I don't want anything. I don't want anything harsh and heavy and booty and too big. Lambasket. I want something kind of it's going to be a little lighter, a little bit more watered down, and refreshing.
Okay.
And that's what this is. This is definitely refreshing. Now, when you said you had this, well, what time of the season did you remember?
I was just looking here. You know what? I had this last May, and I was actually mistaken, thinking it was one of the other beers I had. I looked back on the rating on this one. Here's what I said about it: that it was pretty light.
All right.
Not terrible, but not much of a fan of this one. I gave it a 2 out of 5. So I was thinking about something else I must have had than that one, because that one didn't knock my socks off either.
All right. Well, you know what? This is one of those times I'm definitely going to agree with you on your numbers.
Yeah.
It's solid. It's a good beer.
Okay.
I'm definitely your 21-year-olds to your 30-year-olds are going to like this. Are definitely going to like this. The ones whose palate really hasn't gotten in and started really developing, they really haven't started to really appreciate the craftness of craft beer.
Yeah.
Okay. And I say that not to be.
Yeah. You broke up a little bit there.
Thinking the
one. Oh, Krunch. Are you there? I think we
like the yellow tails.
Okay, you're back.
Things like that. Okay. I said are definitely going to be in line with this type of.
Oh, Krunch, did we lose you? Hey, Krunch. Well, I think we may have lost Krunch there for a second. Wait for him to pop back up. And while we do so, I'm going to actually be taking a look at Goose Island Summertime Kolsch. Have not had this one yet. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one open. And hopefully we get Krunch back here in a second. Going through some technical difficulty. For anybody that's used Google Hangout, this is kind of something that happens once in a while where it seems to break up when it wants to. So for whatever reason, it doesn't always want to work right. So here we go. Goose Island, Summertime Kolsch. Very nice. Look at the clarity on that one. The lovely action taking place. And for a lot of people, they talk about Goose Island if it's actually a craft beer. I think they still make a lot of the craft beer. Some people call it crafty beer because of them basically now being a little bit bigger since they have been purchased in a lot of the craft breweries. But I think their beer is still pretty good and definitely worth taking a look at. So this one has that nice golden straw yellow color, lots of lovely carbonation, great clarity taking place. The head itself has a nice rocky head, pretty much dead on white head, came out about 2 fingers, maybe slightly larger than that. You can now see it starting to form a little bit more, but looking very nice. As far as the aroma, you kind of get some of the malt forward on this one. Trying to take a look here. I believe it's a low IBU beer. Yeah, actually, this has 20 IBUs, 5.1% ABV. You're getting the malts up front, forward. Kind of getting a I don't want to say like a, there it goes, a little bit better now, getting the a sweet type smell where it's more of a, almost kind of like a little bit of a funkiness to it, not a caramel type sweetness or things along those lines, but kind of a wet mold kind of smell to me. It's kind of how I'm getting the funkiness out of this one. But not smelling horrible, almost like a wet blanket type smell, which can be common for some of the Kolsch beers. Head is now down to just under a finger. Go ahead and get a taste. Wow. So when it tastes, has a nice crisp freshness on the back end as talked about on the bottle. Bitterness, tip of the tongue slightly on the initial flavor, but goes down very smooth. No astringency really on the back end. This one is a nice beer to just sit back and relax. It'll be a nice spring beer, a nice summer beer. When it's getting a little hot outside, you can have this one, kick back, put your feet up, back deck type action. Maybe after cutting the grass, things along those lines where you want to relax with a nice beer. This is a nice one here from Goose Island with their Kolsch. Has a pretty good duration on the flavor. Flavors do stick around a little bit. Doesn't really get up into the cheeks too much, kind of stays towards the front of the mouth as far as what I'm tasting on this here. But all in all, it pretty much stacks up against some of the other Kolsch's that are out there. I think it definitely does okay for itself. Get a little bit of the lacing there on the glass. You do get some of that malt flavor as you swallow. You have that kicking around a little bit in the mouth with some of the malt taste. So the beer itself is a nice, crisp, refreshing beer. Hey, Krunch is back, everybody. I think I see his picture. But anyway, if you're looking for something that might be a little lighter in spring, heading into the summer, I think the Goose Summertime Kolsch could definitely be something worth taking a look at. I think it stacks up well. I think a lot of people that like to go out boating, especially around here, Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area, it's a great beer to have out there on the river or on the lake. You know, as you're kicking back and the water's just flying around, you've got the Summertime Kolsch action. Can you hear me, Krunch? Oh, no mic, no mic. Yeah, I see your mouth moving. Lips are moving. I don't hear anything, though. It's like I'm watching a political debate here. Who is that? Is that Donald Trump over there? Oh, wait a minute. That might be Ted Cruz. What's going on? I can't hear anything. I see a lot of motion. Krunch is there. He is. Everybody, Krunch is back. Round of applause for Krunch.
There we go.
So
like I was saying, on my 9th birthday, when my dog ran away,
I don't know. You're buttoning up there. I don't know. Did you do a quick strip show in between or what? You kind of disappeared there. You know, I could see you come back in your shirt. I'm like, where do you go for a second? Well, I went through. I told the people about the Goose Summertime Kolsch, nice refreshing beer, spring type beer going into summer. I'm not trying to rush through spring to get there, but it does have that bright and crisp finish. And I know you see this. You'll see this a lot if you haven't already in Chicago, of course, with Goose Island being out of there. But definitely one worth taking a try. Most of your cultures are going to be refreshing type beers anyway. Good barbecue, picnic type beer, cut the grass, kick back afterward type beer. Kind of all fits in along those lines. So definitely one to check out. As far as how I'm going to rate it, at 4.9 also with the mouthfeel, it is definitely a light to medium body, but more to the light side type beer also. I'm going to actually give this one I'm going to give it a B. I think it delivers right to the style for what you want for a Kolsch. Doesn't do anything much past that, but holds up very well. Good, nice middle of the road beer. You know what you're getting by picking this one up. So I'm going to give it a B, which will actually translate over to a 3.5 out of 5.
All right, not bad. No. Well, yeah, definitely. When I'm out at the store, there, I'll definitely take a look for it. When especially when it gets a little warmer. Especially the same thing with this Magic Hat, the single chair. Like I said, it's a little too light, for the in this change in season. We got 54 degrees here today. Okay, I would rather have the number 9, on that style for this type of weather, and wait for it to get a little bit warmer for the single chair. But I'm glad to try it out now, so that when it gets to that time, I'll definitely be able to get it. And the same thing with knowing about the Goose Island, I'm definitely looking forward to getting into that when that time comes out.
Yeah.
So, well, alrighty, guys. Well, I'm Krunch here in Chicago, Illinois,
and Rod J out of Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky.
All right. If you have any questions, or feel free to leave any comments, go to the Rod J BeerVentures and leave your comments and stuff there. Rod or I will definitely get back with you in a timely manner as fast as we can. We hope you enjoyed the show. And as always, please go ahead and feel free to ask us what the next episode is going to be about, so you can run out and grab some of the beers and join in with us. Yeah. And remember, if you can't find it, you can always go to, what's that app?
BeerMenus.com.
Oh, man, slowing down there, sidekick.
I know these aren't even strong beers, right? I should be doing better. What's going on? What's going on? Where are thou lines? But beer menus to find any beer, any bar might be serving. We keep saying enough. They're going to have to start endorsing us pretty soon.
At least make it so we get our apps for free.
Right.
But so definitely hook up Rod. We'll let you know. Join in with us. We always like to hear other opinions, of these. Everybody's welcome. We're just a couple of guys enjoying some good beer. I'm Krunch from Chicago. I'll go ahead and catch you on the other side.
And Rod J out of Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. Keep drinking good craft beer. Cheers.
Cheers.